it's possible. I mean, if you think about it, you can imagine it that maybe there is this evil curse or some type of spirit that is doing some kind of trouble, and lo and behold, he wants to help you out. And so you feel very strong, very powerful, and you do things to beat all the other evil spirits or other evil curses that are out there. And I think maybe it's also because there are people who feel weak because maybe nobody's listening to them. Maybe they want to say something, but no one pays attention. And that's why you have the otakus, for example, that from the name itself signifies that they prefer to be inside their house, inside their rooms, in fact, and not interact with so many other people who don't understand. And that's why eventually you find that they are having difficulty expressing themselves or doing well in other stuff besides watching anime or playing video games. Although they do find the community because turns out there's so many other people like them, and that's why you got otakus that go to Akihabara, for example, together, and you see them, and they have this distinct persona, or they seem to evoke this idea that although they look older, they still want to maybe retain that type of childhood innocence, except that they're not really innocent because they've grown older. Actually, they've seen all these anime, and yet maybe there's still something that they don't really know. And I think it's also because they're gonna have difficulty finding a significant other, a girlfriend or something like that, because the girls wouldn't really want to interact too much with them. Although these days we get a lot of the people in the fighting game community, for example, who join esports, and they're bringing in women to the events, and getting them to play the games as well. And I think there is some kind of change happening, definitely. Except that if you maybe watch some more, you find that it's happening. I mean, there are women joining, but the guys aren't too successful in getting some of them to marry each other or something like that. Although there are cases, definitely. I mean, they want to show that it's possible, and so they have videos where they got a guy and a girl together and joining these tournaments. But I think for most people, it seems that it's at least most people from Japan. I think it's either you marry or you have the passion for the game so much that you don't really have time for other things like that. Although, like I was saying a while ago, they want to show that it's definitely possible, it's doable. They want to show that you can play fighting games, win tournaments, and yet have a family life. But I think it's only for a select number of people. The majority seems to still be focused on playing the game and not worrying too much about the marrying aspect. But I think it's also because there are more younger people, and maybe because they're still young, they don't want to think too much about marrying. And I think in Japan, for instance, they would likely eventually feel the loneliness by the time they reach their 30s. So you get people who go to events like the gokon, where they set up some kind of interaction between a set of guys and another set of girls who don't have any partners yet, and then they go out and maybe have dinner, and then they all get to talk to each other that way. Usually the guys would know someone from the other side, the side of the girls, and then they would set up some kind of meeting to get all the other guys and all the other girls to meet up together and have some kind of interaction. And I think in that instance, they would maybe find someone they like and get to talk some more and eventually decide if they'd want to get married and do stuff. Because I think by the time you reach your 30s in Japan, you would have so much more money because of working at a a company, for example, for so many years in your 20s, a decade, for example, of working. So you're in your 30s, and then you're buying video games, you're buying TV because you got so much money. What are you going to spend it for? You don't even have any children yet, right? But so you eventually feel lonely because maybe you've been watching a lot of the anime and a lot of the video games, and you think that all these games is not too interesting to me anymore. I've been playing this for several years already. There's something new that comes out, but they all look the same. They maybe change a little bit here and there, but fundamentally they're all the same. The anime, I've been watching them for about a decade already. There are definitely improvements, but the story, you see all the patterns that there's this type of archetype that okay, here's this guy who is like the cool type, and then there's another guy coming in who is maybe the fun character who throws jokes and stuff like that, and then there's this girl who seems to be very shy and that the loud person, the loud guy likes it, and things like that. And so you see all these archetypes, and there are all these patterns happening, and there are so many people talking about this and that and saying all their ideas. But can we really have some kind of dialogue? I mean, people really having some real conversation and not just full of imagination and full of hints, full of implicit nonverbal communication type of talk, and so you begin to look for someone you can interact with and really have a conversation with by the time you reach your 30s, and then you find someone through some kind of event like the gokon that I was saying a while ago, and you decide that maybe I'd want to contact her again because she gave me her calling card, and it looks like she's working at a company right now in her 30s, maybe a bank or something like that. And you and you think that okay, so she has education. I mean, you can't really go to some kind of bank without having graduated from a university that is not at least prestigious, right? So you contact her and you decide to see how it would go, and maybe she'd also like to get to know you some more. So that type of path that I think certain people would want, although there are of course who would want to go against the tide and persist on playing video games and watching anime, and that's how you get the older looking types of people that are part of the otaku group that still plays video games, plays anime, and seem to be missing something, and they also know it, and yet they are having this difficulty of interacting and getting someone to really get to know them, and them getting to know the other person. Okay, so I think that should be enough. Thanks for joining me. We'll see each other soon.